So, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a quorum to move forward with this meeting. I apologize to anyone. I know I forgot a lot of things. My fault again. Yeah, so I didn't know it was going to be holiday today. So holiday was just last night. Okay, moving forward, so we're going to get a motion to you don't have the minutes. No, this one. No. The presentation of new information, that's these guys. So we're moving on to presentation of new information. Any new data, reports, or updates relevant to the agenda? I'm going to get a motion to approve this, to move on to this presentation.
Make a motion.
Make a motion.
I make a motion.
Okay. So, first, motion will be Jessica Garcia. And will I get a second motion to move on?
Second that motion.
So this presentation of new information, is this you, Mr. Marvin?
I
Yes?
think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I previously presented. So this is about your the solar thing, right?
Yes, sir.
So would you like to?
Yes, if I could, first of all, I want to thank you, Mr. Mayor. I know it's been a major challenge for you to try to, get this thing organized, and we made several attempts, and we appreciate your persistence to allow us to move forward this with this. So if you can draw your attention to the south wall here, this is a conditional use permit for 3 lots in the municipality of Joy. It's proposing to install and operate a 132 megawatt solar voltaic and battery energy storage renewable integrated energy storage system facility. Really big word for a really huge battery put together, connected to solar panels, and then sent into our power grid. For the record, these lots are 100-2-R1 new-R1. That's a typo there, I'm sorry, sir. That's 100-2-1 new-R5. And 100-2-1 new-2. This project is sponsored by Samsung, Korean East-West Power Company, and Korean Electric Corporation. We have members in the audience right now who've traveled over from Korea to participate in this hearing. And we are PG engineers, and we are handling the engineering portion, planning portion of this whole endeavor.
I'm sorry, excuse me, sir. Did you introduce yourself or?
Marvin Aguilar.
Mr. Marvin Aguilar.
Marvin Aguilar.
So in case nobody
Yes,
is.
I'm a 50G engineer, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm just excited to be here.
Me too. We're finally getting to
So how do we get to this point where we're actually in the process of trying to build a solar farm of this magnitude? We're looking at over 600 acres of land that we want to utilize for solar power use. Samsung KEPCO and KEPCO, EWP, and Samsung America as well, bid for, was one of 5 bids that went to the Guam Power Authority to provide this service. So this consortium of professional engineers and subject matter experts have put together a plan to pursue forward and support GPA's request for services. This is going to be a 25-year power purchase agreement. It's going to be between this consortium and GPA. The planning, or the PV planning and engineering design experts, again, is Samsung EC, which is Samsung America, Samsung CT, Korea East-West Power Company Limited, EWP, and KEPCO. Of course, again, we're the local technical assistance providing them assistance where the boots to the ground are, assisting them moving forward with this project. Before we go on, I want to talk about what a conditional use permit is, and there's a little misnomer out there. Conditional use permit is not a zone change, okay? The property remains agriculture. What the law allows us to do is to assert certain other uses, provided that we meet the letter of the law with respect to site planning, utilization of public utilities, and ensuring that the public is not going to be impacted by this proposal in general. So just to give you an idea, I don't know if you can all see this, just to give you an idea where this property is located. To your lower left, you have the former Woodward Hills Golf Course.
That's a Takayama golf course before.
Takayama, yes, sir. And offset of that road going into the old Takayama, it's lot A76. I think, Frank, that's where you live. Right? There.
Further down.
Further down? Okay. More quieter areas. And so so we're basically adjacent and to the west of the former Takayama Golf Course. Our boundary, we border Leo Palace Resort along the Meningan River, or the Ilic River. We also have the Tarzan River that kind of bifurcates, but goes through our property about 1/3 down from north to south. And then a little ways up, we have the trailhead heading into Tarzan Falls Trail. If you notice, if you recall, there are some homes that are being built. I don't have my pointer with me. Try to point to it. We have some homes being built right here. Some new homes. I think they're up on the third or fourth pad. And we skirt them from the north. They're adjacent to us. So if you have any question as to where this property is located, if you've been a long-time resident of Jotnia, this lot is actually the former Cascada, the proposed Cascada golf course.
Yes.
So it's owned by the Dueñeses, I think, and some of the Bernalios on the east side. And they were going to use about 1/3 of the property. And somehow that, obviously the project didn't go through. So we have two applications, but it's one unified PV-BESS facility platform. In other words, we took land that belonged to a company called Giant Corporation, Consortium Corporation. The much larger tract we're taking from Maruhan Corporation, which was the former golf course that we're attempting to build the golf course. But we're merging these properties together for one development platform. Ergo, let me use the background. So, we have the lots as they're distributed here. And I apologize, I can't show you, you can't really see the legend here, but that light teal blue, those will be solar panels. Green are the wetlands that we're avoiding, and streams and rivers. And the black wavy lines going through are access ways to the panels for servicing and for setting up conduits into the BES system. Any questions at this time?
I do.
Yes, sir.
So that's a really popular area for hiking.
Yes.
And locals to go on the weekends to
Yes.
jump in the pool that's there.
Yes.
What happens to that? Is that still accessible?
If I can, thank you, that's a good question. I can discuss that a little later as we move forward and
Thank you.
talking about the resource and recreational resources. Thank you for bringing that up. So total area is 627 acres. we're utilizing only 43.59% of the property. And that's because we have rivers that we're going to avoid, we have streams that feed the rivers that we're going to avoid, and we have wetlands that we are going to avoid. They're legally called waters of the United States. So instead of filling them, we're pulling back and keeping away from them, putting in a buffer, making sure that these natural resources are protected. And I'll discuss more about that as I move over. We do have this project at this point right now designed to be in 2 phases. That it'll look like red line at the very top is actually the Tarzan River. That's our boundary marker. We're staying away from that portion of our property and focusing on the southern half. Okay. With the
Southern half being this side.
this side down.
Yes.
So what we're seeing right now as we proceed with assessing the property, we're also doing some soil testing. I think they're about to be completed in a couple of weeks. Testing the ground, and so on and so forth. Trying to find out where we really need to put these best management practices in place, making sure that erosion siltation are contained as much as possible. And again, I'll talk more about that as we proceed on. Phase 2 is a tad bit, not really, but a tad bit challenging. It's going to require some river crossing and whatnot. And we just want to, we want to approach this baby steps. But altogether, the whole entire conditional use permit application covers the entire property. So that's very, very important. Okay. Pretty much talked about this. If you have any questions about where the rivers are, Domingan, Ilik, we have some archaeological sites that were discovered back in the early 80s or the mid 80s when Cascada was coming about. We're doing archaeological assessments as we speak for the geotesting and perhaps a more, and of course a more extensive assessment as we proceed forward towards other permitting requirements. And we go over, when we talk about natural resources for this project, we're looking at wetlands, rivers, streams, habitat, and engaging resource agencies such as Department of Agriculture, Guam EPA, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, Army Corps of Engineers, U.S. EPA, San Francisco. So there is an understanding, there's a knowledge that's being passed around these different agencies about this project as we speak. You understand? We also have to consider the archaeological and historical resources. They did find some items out there. We're going to continue to address the mitigation needs to protect these sites. If not, work with the Department of Parks and Recreation State Historic Preservation Office and to move forward with any concerns that they may have on this. Right now, we have an approval to proceed forward to do some monitoring work as we go in and do soil testing throughout the property.
So when do you guys plan to take action on, to break ground on all this solar?
Well, we can't break ground until we get one land use commission approval. It's a conditional use permit. So right now we can apply for certain permits that does not necessarily relate to the actual development speed. So we can go in there and we can look for bats and we can look for birds and we can look for different plants. We can assess. We can go in there. We can drill holes so that we can find out how the soil is. We've completed our wetland assessment. What feeds these wetlands? How they feed outside of the property? And just looking at the ecological relationship between the waterways, the rivers, and habitat.
So give and take probably the next year, all this will take place, or?
Actually, we're being aggressive. I think we want to be in place by August.
Of this year?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, just starting
Something
moving
for
forward.
25, for 2025?
For 20, well,
August.
yeah, I think, well, our project site has, our target site has always been moving.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Moving up, we should.
No, well, moving forward.
25 or
2025, I think we should be. at
That is a start schedule for construction. Once we have the GLUC permit, then we can mobilize on site for clearing and grading. So that will begin the grading work, but then the actual construction of the panels and the electrical equipment will be later in 2025 into 2026 for the construction.
Question,
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
the ERC already reviewed it,
Yes, sir.
so the ERC is the agency review committee
Yes, sir.
for order number one.
So we've got comments back, and we're working with some of the comments that they've made, and I'm working forward towards that. We prepared.
Another question?
So I have a question. So all these agencies that you're mentioning, have you gotten approval from them to move on? Or you're just submitting a request for
Yeah,
a
so-
proof of permit?
Yeah, so far we've gotten approval for certain permits that are allowable before, given the limited scope that we're for performing assessment work. So we do have some permits. We've done work along the Route 17. We're doing some soil testing right now, and that's pretty much the limit of it. We cannot do any other. We cannot engage in any permitting request until we get approval from the Guam Land Use Commission.
Sir, I think you're asking though about the agencies?
Yes.
The agencies, in the same time, they've responded as application review committee members in addressing some of their concerns about the area. So
It's still in the permit process.
we're not even in the permit process.
They need to get the.
We're in the conditional use permit
use
process.
Approved, and then from there, they'll be sanctioned to get a building permit.
Yeah.
Okay, so approximately how many agencies are you facing?
7.
7 that has to give
Well,
you the.
six core agencies,
Okay.
actually. Yeah. So-
Through the GLUC process, the agencies give us their comments and their conditions to provide approval. And so then we incorporate their requests with conditions into the final design. And then with the design, we get the building permit and then move on to construction. So all of the agency concerns are included.
Even with the building permit, it still has to go back to the agencies and get reviewed to make sure they comply.
Right. At the end,
So it's a double check
Yeah.
from, even if the conditions approved, when it goes for the building permit, it goes back to the agencies and then for them to sign.
yeah, that's right.
That's what takes longer, is
Yeah.
just getting the permits
It's a process.
on place, yeah, process.
Right.
Okay, so here my question again. So where does the municipal planning council here come in?
Because this project is going to be in your municipality,
Mm-hmm.
and as one of the requirements for the MPC is to assess projects small or large and how it affects your community. It affects the property value, use of water, power, utilities.
So is the council here one of the primary what do you call it, assessment that needs to be approved before you can even move on?
Well, let me.
Yeah, it is.
I know.
Yes, it is.
I know the
Yeah,
council
no.
has to.
That's
So
what I'm trying to
what
say.
happens here with this process, right? Without the approval of the MPC, this thing can't move until they satisfy. with
Okay, so
the-
here's my question to the mayor then. So, as a council member, do we need to make sure that all the agencies first provide their input before we approve?
From what I know is, we have to, it has to come to us first, and then, whatever permit that comes to the office, then I call another meeting with us again, just to show you guys what their actual plan is on that permit, so everything's in place, right?
Well, essentially, the MPC review process is different from the DLM, Guam Land Use Commission process. I will be making the same presentation on next week here to satisfy that public hearing requirement.
Yes, sir.
The application review committee comments are available, and I can actually forward that to everyone here to review, and, you know, absorb and use it sorry, sir.
I'm just trying to make sure that there's a process for the mayor to request approval from the members before we move on, or does the mayor is given the authority to allow and approve things when some of the agencies have yet to provide their input?
Okay, so, may I answer that? So, first of all, we're supposed to have a meeting, just us, myself and the council members. We've been trying that, we could never get a quorum to have our own meeting. So, with all that, maybe we keep trying to move forward to have this meeting, but these guys have to, you guys want to present things, and I have to keep saying yes to having this meeting. But we still could not get a quorum only today. Only today we finally got a quorum. So yes, we have to have our own meeting with the members first to approve, to let them know what's going on in our village before we actually have this meeting. So I chanced it by having this meeting today with Mr. Martin Aguilar. And to chance to see if we can have the members present here today, and it worked out pretty good. So we have a quorum actually.
But getting back to your question about does he have a process? Yes, he does. He has, you know, he has the power the authority to bring everybody together, further deliberate. The end state of that deliberation will be a resolution from
The council.
Endorsed by the council and through his signature. The Guam Land Use Commission needs to see that, whether it's dissenting or it's approving. They need to see that resolution to say, they need to see it as part of their. So perhaps maybe I need to also say this, is that the Guam Land Use Commission uses the different government agencies as the application review committee uses the MPC as a fact gathering. They don't have to agree with everything, but we do have to tell you that if the MPC says we don't want it, or they stop and you say why don't we want it? It could be based.
Okay.
It could be based
So I
on.
understand that.
Yeah.
Where it's coming from then.
Yeah. So that the social economic value that like a project like this would bring, how would that benefit the community? But in this case, I must say, this is a project that's going to benefit the entire island, right? So.
So don't mind me, this is my first time with this kind of meetings. I mean, even the zone change, so I'm just fine tuning myself with this kind of meetings. I know I can understand where you're coming from, that approval.
Yeah, I mean,
members, yeah.
we as council members, we want to see
Yes.
these things in our community. So we don't want to hold back whatever and delay this project
Thank you.
because we're missing something. That's what I'm concerned.
Thank
So
you.
what do we
Right.
need before we meet with the mayor to make sure that when we approve whatever's coming down, that we're in line with whatever initiative that you have? That's my concern.
Good point, sir. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the resources are available. We have the applications. I believe, sir, you do have
Yes.
copies of that. We have the application review committee responses to the Guam Land Use Commission. We also have responses that we provided to those responses. So packaged together, and they're very much available for everyone to review. Okay.
Okay, so that's what we need to review and that.
Yes,
Vote.
you can review it again when I come for another meeting. Just for
So,
us.
Mark, what I think one of the questions the planning council we have would be, would you guys give the opportunity to our community to be able to get employed while the project is?
I mean, that's very, very possible. It's not, it's not a hotel that's going to have the potential to employ 200, 300 people. A facility like this can run on 5 to 10 people on a daily
No,
basis.
but like, like the initial clearing and grading and so forth, would you guys be able to do a job fair with the company that they select
Job fair?
to give our community,
For the community.
Yeah.
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 while the project is ongoing?
Yep.
So you're gonna be needing
Not
skilled
for the-
workers, so maybe that'd be a good idea. Maybe training the local population of Jonia to be skilled
Yeah.
to be able to handle that. Using a certain group of residents from Jonia and bringing them up to a certain level of skill that can perform those functions of maintenance that's going to be required for them.
You know, it's very interesting you brought that up, sir. Because half of the people that are employed at the former Windward Hills Golf Course are from Zonia or Talafofo.
That's good.
I have more professional level golfers in my family from Talafofo than anywhere else. And it's all up because their job source was
Yes.
at Windward Hills. So definitely, yes, sir.
That would be
Right.
really nice.
Yeah, I just wish we could employ more. It's really a and I can talk more about that later on. I'll go through my presentation. But it's really a self-functioning system in itself.
Yeah, but for the initial one.
Yeah, initial, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, let me get back on track. So we're addressing natural and archaeological resources. During our this first portion of our assessment, we found out that there was a need to look at different ways to install these panels. Traditionally, you go out there, you dig a big hole, and you put the platform posts on, and then you dig it, put it back in. Well, we're not going to be doing that. As a matter of fact, we're going to be expending as less ground movement disturbance as possible. Let me just by looking at this display,
Thank you.
you can see that they actually just went into a field. This is actually a former field, a farmland. They just went in there, started putting the posts in there, putting panels up, hooking them up. Very, very low impact, right? But the property kind of undulates, it's hilly, it goes downhill and whatnot. And so we have to be really careful when we apply this method. So we're going to be using the screw type insertion method. Basically, we bring up a little, and correct me if I need to expand on this. We're going to bring in a machine, drive it down, screw. Thank you, you understand that concept, right? And it's going to work through it. At the same time, we'll be using the terrain. So there's going to be minimum grading. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Minimum grading as we go. There's going to be some grading. We need to put in access roads. Those access roads have to be safe. You know, they're probably going to be using a small truck or one of the 2x2 ATV. Yeah, they can't be just going. They have to be done well. So we have to commit these areas to some grading, clearing, and grading. We're going to be installing silt retention ponds. This is a general design. It's when it was just installed. Not here. This is somewhere in the States. But what this does is it captures any runoff that has siltation in it. That's that siltation, that silt settle, and then pitches it out into the wetlands or the river beds. So you're getting the objective is to get us good water quality going into the coming off the hills and into the wetlands or the streams. Okay, now it's easier said than done. When I say that, there's a lot of engineering that goes into it. There's a lot of hydrology work, engineering work, and I leave it to them to do that. But this is the general design that we're going to be applying throughout the project. We're also looking at rain gardens, and I just wanted to show you a profile of this. So imagine the silt ponds improving, started working on their own naturally. You could actually have a rain garden effect. Throughout the project, as equipment goes through, we'll be using either on the left silt fencing or appropriate silt sock and additional berming or whatever is required to support retention of silt and erosion. Okay. And on top of that, EPA. Guam EPA is out there. They're watching us. They're telling us we may have the great idea. They'll say, no, we want you to do it this way. We just follow through.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a challenge. The simple reason is that we do have experience with solar farms up in the north, where they put it up and then what happened? erosion came in, went down all the way to the Marble Cave. Yes. So we got to be mindful the waters that drains out of here from the east side. It goes all the way down to Maningan, Asinan, out into Park Bay. Yeah.
Okay. Now we just hope that doesn't happen to on our side, like the one in Marble Cave. You know, pretty sure you guys will do good.
So,
But that's
yeah, just a real quick summary on, when you do provide project specification. If it comes to using the community's infrastructure, water, power, public sewer, again, it's going to be a small unit of operators, so we're not going to be really impacting these resources. We may be needing some water for fire suppression, but I think there's other methods that can be applied to stop forest fires that is generally occurring in this area due to poachers and whatnot, right? So we're working with the Department of Forestry on methods that we can suppress fire without the extreme use of water.
Yeah, that'll be a real task for you guys to
Yeah,
keep your place from burning up, you know what I mean?
Yeah, fire breaks and
Yeah.
whatnot. Yes, sir. There is flexibility in the land use being proposed right now. The proposal's for 25 years. It could go on for another 25 years. We don't know 25. I don't know if I'm gonna be alive in 25, but it's good for 25 years. Panels can be removed. Everything can be removed. Property is still agriculture.
So up during the storm, like a typhoon, you guys just leave it out there, or do you have a maintenance crew that's supposed to like take it down?
Well, they have to be installed and to meet appropriate wind loads. There's going to be over 2,500 panels, if not 3,000. Am I saying 25 or 35?
I think it's much higher than that.
Okay, 10,000.
Yeah.
There's going to be panels out there, so it's just the reality of removing the panels to secure them for typhoon is not. May not be feasible. I would have to get back to you on that, Mayor. Okay, I don't think I don't.
Is that place gonna be completely fenced up like that? Is it gonna be secured?
There's going to be security in there, sir. There's going to be security in there. Yeah. But most importantly, at the very bottom in red, what this project is doing is it's responding to Guam EPA, the government of Guam EPA's initiative to have Guam dependent on alternative energy. Now, when we say alternative energy, we can talk about windmills, we can talk about nuclear power. In this case, we're talking about solar power. And by the year 2045, we're supposed to be 100% dependent on alternative energy. So that's when we say bold, we say it's aggressive. Yeah, that's just about 20 years from now.
And it's a clean energy.
Clean
you know?
energy, sir. Clean. And we also have the law for you if you want to see it. It's been modified several times. It went from 20 to 40, 50, and now it should be 100%.
And over a part there now.
Definitely, yes. I would wish I
This is
could
all,
tell you.
I mean, this is all together with GPA, right? This is a GPA kind
This
of
is a
takeover thing,
yeah.
aligned with them, right?
Yes.
So, I guess the bottom line is, we just, like certain places, when solar panels started being introduced to the public, it kind of hampered the utilities that are run by the government, in the sense that it takes away money from them and kind of throws things off. So because this is tied in with GPA and it's like a joint venture thing, I think that's all aligned. But I only have read and heard that they do have problems elsewhere regarding solar and local energy run by the government, to say that they're starting to lose customers because now I don't own my own power and
You're off the grid.
I'm off the grid.
Right.
So, good and bad for everybody. I guess you just gotta change the game up a little. But you guys know that. I'm just throwing that out there. But yeah, I'm happy for you guys, for sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good.
I got some questions. So, your presentation.
Pretty much.
So you never talked about how you're gonna rectify the problem with our,
I'm sorry.
our local population going down there and visiting those streams and rivers, or I'm
So-
sorry, even swimming points.
Yes, so let me,
Because that's really popular, that whole area there. There's a bunch of ponds there that every weekend we have people going down that way.
yeah. So, I don't know if it's kind of blurry, but it says Trailhead, Carson Falls. It kind of basically, there are several ways to get down to the pools. Let me get back up here.
Of course, it's still gonna be accessible. I know you're still gonna be accessible no matter what, right?
Yeah. So the pools are approximately right here. The main pools, the one you see on YouTube and whatnot. There are several pools that occur around the bends as you go down. But this is the most popular pool.
And that's the Tarzan pool, right?
They call it Tarzan pools, right here. And people do go through the property at one time or another. They come around and security things. I mean, you know, the path of least resistance. And there are some paths on the property. One of the things that we've been discussing.
Tarzan Falls on the left side, you're saying, right? On the left side, because they're pointing to the Eagle River.
Yeah. Well, it's like right here.
So where's Tarzan Falls?
Tarzan's like right here.
That's a
I'm
river.
sorry, yeah.
Where's the other river that comes?
Where's the swimming?
Where's the river?
And then the pools are right here. Right on this point right. And it's just right off our property. It's not in our property.
Oh, yeah.
So would you guys make a pathway for how they get down there right now?
Well, one of the things that we've been talking about is actually, you know, identifying a safe corridor. When hikers go out, hikers want to be left alone. They just want to go on their own.
Yeah, but-
And their liability is on
But
their
it would
own.
be easier if you guys provide them an access way to get to that.
Would you allow the
Because
public
if
to
not, they're
Yes.
gonna-
continue to
at the time
access that area?
Yes, well, we're looking at identifying a corridor, an access way.
Okay.
We're gonna be installing pads, sensitive equipment materials. The possible harm to the public is heightened because we have power going through these cables. Okay, so we have to take that in mind. We have to take into mind the liability.
Does that mean that
Or-
you're going to cut passes that currently, or are you gonna restrict, you're gonna restrict in any way, shape or form, access to any of those pools?
We will restrict, let me just say this, we will restrict any access that will cause a liability to us. Now, people
That
know.
might be a problem.
Well.
That might be a
well-
problem.
Well, I'm saying, I apologize, sir. What I'm saying is, we're not gonna cut you off. We're going to find alternative ways, looking for a corridor, identifying easier and safer ways to get there. But at the same time, the public has to understand the liability involved.
We have that all in writing in black and white?
No, not right now, sir. It's all being considered right now, you know.
And they're gonna have
we wanna reach
security.
out.
So
They're
you
gonna
go down
secure,
in,
they have security running around saying, stay away from this area.
So the way it works in Tumon, right? Any hotel down in Tumon, they have to provide an access way to
Yes.
the beach.
Yeah.
So you guys should be able to provide access.
Exactly, yes. Because it's.
Yeah, but earlier you mentioned that you're not, I think, towards the southern end, you're not gonna be using a lot of those areas.
We're not gonna be using it now.
Why would you, why would
It's a
you?
phase speed.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Why would you say that you're gonna bring it up later on in the slide and then not even bring it up at all? Not even have it a part of the slide?
Well, I'm sorry, because we've been engaging the,
You weren't engaging, nothing, you were dodging the question.
no, I'm not dodging. it, sir.
You sound like it.
We've been identifying the idea of providing access to.
You don't even have it in your slide,
I
sir.
don't have that one, sir. I apologize.
So I guess, Mark, what
But-
we're trying to get at is make sure that that's going to be part of our condition to approve.
We need to reach out to Dave Lotz and the Guam Hikers Club, see how he feels about it. He used to do what we do, he was a ARC
but
member.
We just need to.
Yeah,
I'm dodging the question, that's.
I apologize if it sounded like, I apologize. But we do have to, again, we do have to think about liability. It's
Yeah,
not
that's
gonna
why
be
you
on
asked
our
the
cost.
question. That's why you asked the question. Because of liability.
Well, that big area there, if you fenced it up, there's no way to get around that place. And if you have,
Well, we can't fence all of it.
yeah.
Yeah, we
And they're
can't
gonna
fence
have
all of it.
security guards roaming around.
I guess maybe they can do is like you're talking about the power lines underground, and those things that need to be taken care of for security. Yeah, I believe
Yeah, I mean, it's-
that can be done, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It can be done, it's just a matter of how you do it, I guess, you know?
Yeah. Can we
If you
have-
got panels over here, panels over here, they gotta merge, they're gonna come together
Right.
somehow. You can identify an area this is gonna be, but the getting over it should be.
We feel we can address,
Yeah,
you know,
Right, the hiking.
we can address the hiking community,
sure.
those who wanna go out there and, okay.
So for sure, the next slide or the next meeting, you will have that on your next slide.
Oh, definitely, we're gonna bring that up before the Wildland
Yeah,
Commission, and, yeah, and of course, yes,
Not even in your slides, sir.
I apologize.
So your next slide will probably be just so, I guess, for at least for everybody to understand that all the good places, it's like shutting down, like he's probably thinking for us, because I've been down there a number of times over, but yeah, I understand, but I figured that for sure you can come up with something,
Oh,
right?
yes,
To say like,
definitely.
yeah, hey, this
Yes.
way to the pool, this way to Tarzan River. And
But what it
just-
sounds like, that's not even in their mind right now.
No,
He
well,
lied to us.
no, I'm not lying, sir. Please.
When you said it was in later on in your
No,
slide.
I said I wanted to discuss more about it because we've just been engaging the issue, the possible issue of trails. One of the things that we've been also thinking about or discussing is how ATVs have been going into the property and really causing a lot of damage to the wetlands and the rivers and whatnot. We have photos that have taken out 20-foot ruts. That's not done by hikers. These are done by off-roaders.
And this is all
So-
private property, right?
This is all private property.
I totally
But-
understand that. My only concern is making sure that that whole area is still accessible to our local population. You're about to shut that whole thing out, and everybody goes there on the weekend. That is a normal area
Yeah.
that everybody on Guam always wants to go to. They're highly keen to go in there every weekend.
You
And
can
you're gonna
come
shut
around
that
there,
out.
you can come around there from Napa area.
From,
Yeah, coming down from Tarzan through the Saddle, it's called the Saddle,
The
you
Saddle.
come in through
Behind-
Raceway
behind
Drive, yeah, you go all the way up to the
I
top.
guess Barb, just make sure that the next.
Well, we're definitely gonna identify something,
Yeah.
you know? I mean, perhaps even options.
Yeah, bring the pool, the pond.
I apologize, it sounds like we're just trying to, cut that out, no.
That's exactly
What we're
what it
trying to-
sounds like, sir.
I apologize.
I
But,
understand where it's coming from, because later on, who knows, be more people in the next meeting, and then everybody's gonna ask you the same question, so maybe just to provide you that, just to say everybody
thank you.
on the same page.
Anything else?
No.
Okay. With that, I thank you for the comments, I thank you for your input, and, the meeting is going to be on the 6th again. Same, but amended,
Thank you.
presentation.
That's good.
And, we have our address with the mayor, we can pass out our cards if you want to be calling us up. And find out more.
So, Mayor, when's Sunday's meeting?
On the sixth, November sixth. That's,
It's gonna, yeah.
that's,
Wednesday,
that's,
Wednesday.
Yeah. Fine.
Can't have it on the 7th, because adios. And the meeting is.
Yeah, so, yeah, do be in the sixth, same time, here,
Yeah.
please.
And I think we should
Yes.
try and make it a point to go
Okay.
everybody and.
Maybe I'll just call a meeting, just
Yeah.
us members, and
Yeah.
I'll bring some us, you know.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Frank now is one of the members, so I need to introduce you guys a bit more.
Yeah.
Okay, so, good, maybe in the next, Tuesday? Or Monday, we'll call out the meeting for the members, just, meeting,
Yeah.
and to share a little bit what's going on.
I think this kind of meeting is more informative to us and for the Georgia people and the benefits that's gonna come from it, or the positive and the negative part of it. So at least we're here to make sure that we protect our community, right? To make sure that
And
they're
minimize-
properly, so in the event somebody drives by, hey, what's going on over there, Mayor? That's for our new solar farm, Chetlu.
So what's happening here, it requires two meetings, two
Okay,
public meetings from the,
As long as those issues are addressed, that's really good. I really like it.
Thank you
The
so
only
much.
issue I have is blocking it off to our local population. Now,
We're gonna fix
that would be
this.
the only issue. As long as we could have access to that, that wouldn't be an issue.
Mr. Dan or Ms. Ellie, do you guys have any questions? Or would you like to discuss anything on this matter, this matter?
I'll be there for sure the next, what is the next day?
It will be November sixth, at the same time, same place, 6 o'clock, here at the community center. So that will be November sixth. Yes.
Okay, I'll just be getting back from, site map, so I should be
Okay.
able to reach.
Hope you don't get jet lag, sir, please. No, I'm just kidding. So, yeah, thanks for coming on,
But-
the meeting, so we're not done yet.
Sir, we have a follow-on meeting, right? Right now,
Right
that,
now.
for the resolution.
For the resolution, yeah.
Yeah, we need everybody to stay online.
On board, not
Yeah.
just thanking him, he's not gonna get up.
Okay.
He's not get up.
Okay,
So that's to Dan, thank you for, any views still online.
okay, great.
We're good. So, Ms. Ellie, you have any questions or concerns? Thank you very much. So, okay, if nobody has any comments or discussion, we'll move on to the next, with the, for the resolution.
Well, actually, I think you want to adjourn this.
Oh, no, yeah.
I think because
So-
you're going into a.
so all
We're gonna
agree?
move to the next item.
So we have to agree or disagree. Anybody, we all agree on his, presentation? How you say, agree or disagree, right? Oh, whoever agrees with this presentation, with, Mr. Marvis, presentation, say aye. You say no. You don't agree, yeah?
Do not agree.
Any discussions?
Do not agree.
Until the next meeting,
Not
right?
the way it is now, I do not agree. If he makes those changes, yes, we will agree. I will agree.
So, no further discussion on this, on your presentation to next meeting, right?
Does this satisfy the one?
Does this satisfy?
thought?
This
To satisfy
What,
on me, this first
Yeah,
meeting?
we understand that,
So-
so you adjourn this one and then go into your next one.
Then the next one is with the resolution.
Oh, okay, I see, okay.
To approve
I'm sorry.
or agree. Is that what it is, Mark?
Yeah, so the first one is the presentation,
Presentation, okay.
and then that's supposed to end at 7, up to 7, then you
Right.
reconvene. That's our
Okay, so-
understanding.
Yeah, I'm sorry when
Yes, sir.
I went on the subject, yeah, so no concerns or no discussion on this presentation, so this meeting will be.
He had a concern.
Oh, concern?
No, I voiced my
Yeah,
concern.
you
Already?
voiced it
I
already.
voiced my concern.
Okay, anybody else?
No. So the next meeting, you'll address
Oh,
it.
yes,
And then,
so we're gonna, for his presentation, we're gonna go ahead and adjourn this meeting as, this time at 7:18. So for the presentation, meeting adjourned, at this time, 7:18. Thank you, sir.
no, but the
Okay.
other.
Can I get a motion, can I get a second motion to adjourn this meeting, or
For,
No,
for this,
the presentation is adjourned.
adjourn,
not,
right?
not the meeting.
The,
You're not adjourning the meeting, you adjourn.
The
You're
presentation.
moving to the next,
so move it.
the next.
Sorry, I'm not used to this.
it's a separate meeting.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a new meeting, yeah.
It's a separate topic. They're-
So we have to adjourn the presentation first.
Presentation.
Okay, so that meeting's, that presentation is
Move to the
adjourned.
next side.
So moving on to, resolution consideration.
Yeah.
Presentation of the proposed resolution, discussion and debate of the resolution, is that the same thing?
That one is where those guys comes
Yeah.
up.
So that's, okay, so can you get a motion to, approve this resolution consideration for the rezoning? And manner of the, by the laws on this one?
So I'm Mr. Azuz, I represent Anulahan at Winter Hills.